Okay, so here we go. This is replacing a Moen Posi-Temp shower valve cartridge. Simple, effective, easy. Just want to show how anybody can do this. I've been plumbing for over 20 years, and it's probably one of the easier things to do as long as you have the right tools. So you start by taking this handle off with an Allen wrench. On the bottom of the handle, you'll see a little hole, and you just take your Allen wrench and twist that screw all the way out. One of the biggest things you need to do is just make sure you put your foot over the drain or somehow cover the drain, because that screw's pretty loose, and if you happen to drop it, it's gone down the drain. So I always try to be super careful. Right here I'm just sitting on the tub, and I put all my parts off to the side onto the toilet. I have a towel over the toilet lid. That's how I like to keep my parts separated. But right here, we're removing the plastic piece that connects to the handle in the shower cartridge. Just a Phillips screw right in the middle. Take the cover off. Take these two screws off of the faceplate of the Moen trim. The screws sometimes can be pretty long. Just depends on how far the valve body's set into the wall. If the valve body's set pretty far out the wall, it takes a while to get the screws in and out. But if the valve body's pretty far into the wall, it goes by pretty quick. So it just depends on how they set your valve body in the wall. But you just pop this faceplate off and you'll get down to the valve body. Luckily, this valve body is pretty far out. Getting this little cotter pin out, that's what actually holds the cartridge in the valve body. Sometimes it can be a little challenging. This one was a little challenging, not too much, but sometimes you gotta break a little bit of tile out. Sometimes that hole where the tile isn't as big as this one. You know, you gotta do what you gotta do. This is my favorite Moen puller. For years I used the standard, silver Moen puller they had from Home Depot. I think those are only like $20, but this one here, I can't remember the name of it, but basically it pulls the valve body out without you having to put any effort into it. All you gotta do is line that up, spin this handle, and it extracts that screw, that long threaded screw. It starts to pull that valve cartridge out for you. For many years I used the Moen valve extractor, and that one you would just connect to the cartridge and yank on it as hard as you could. Sometimes they'd come out pretty smooth, and a lot of the times they wouldn't. So I found this tool, and ever since I've used it, been in love with it. So here's your Moen Posi-Temp cartridge. It comes with some grease. You want to make sure you rub some of that grease onto all the rubber pieces. Right here, I'll pull the rest of the cartridge out, and then when you put the new cartridge in, if you look at the front of the cartridge, you'll see an H and a C. That H and the C go up. The H goes on the left, the C goes on the right. I'm right here, I'm pointing at it. And you just simply push it in. I did stick my finger in there, make sure no rubber or plastic pieces were left behind. Sometimes they do, so. But once you push it in, it comes with that little Moen square head, and helps you push the cartridge into the valve body. Now on the very top of the cartridge, the cartridge comes on. So if you look at the top of the cartridge, you'll see like a little indent. That indent goes to the bottom of the cartridge, and then the top of the cartridge should be 100% smooth on that brass piece. And then once you put your cotter pin back in, make sure it's fully inserted before you turn the water on. But once it's fully inserted, you can go ahead and turn your water back on to your house, and then test it to make sure it's not leaking. I've been doing this for so long and I'm not really worried about it anymore, so I just start putting the trim back on. If you don't feel comfortable doing that and you want to go turn the water on first and then put your trim back on, whatever suits you best. But yeah, I always just put the trim back on. So I put the collar on first because the collar allows you to put the faceplate on, because there's a notch. See that notch right there? So it helps you line it up perfectly. So I always put the collar on first, and then I just go ahead and put my 2 screws in. Sometimes putting those screws in is a bit challenging, because you got to be perfectly straight on just to hit the threads in the back. If not, sometimes it takes a while to get those screws to actually get started. It wants to slip off. Right here, this bottom one, you can see how it slipped out. But once you do get it, it's almost impossible to cross thread. But if it's tight at any point when you start it, just stop, because more than likely you'll cross thread it. So it should just go in, pretty easily. I'm not, putting any pressure on this screwdriver. And then all you gotta do is tighten her down. There's a rubber seal behind these Moen trim plates, so I personally don't like to use silicone. I don't think there's any need for it, but if you want to use silicone, go ahead. This these 2 white pieces I put in, they're for setting the temperature on the hot side. So I just put them straight up. That black piece is what the handle gets connected to, and then there should be a Phillips screw that goes through that connects right into the cartridge. So just hand tighten that down. You don't need to go crazy, and this isn't a car where it needs 80 pounds of torque, but just get it hand tight. Make sure it's not, Another reason I like to leave the water off is I could put this handle on, put my set screw in to hold the handle to the cartridge without the water running. But yeah, all you gotta do is take your Allen wrench, tighten down that set screw so the handle will be secured to that black piece. That way the handle doesn't fall off. And you'll see me test the cartridge right now. So all these cartridges you need is to be able to turn it on and off with the finger. Anything more than that, there's something wrong. But there you go. That's how you do it. Water. Now you just turn your water back on, test it, make sure it's smooth, and you're good to go.